In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your serpentine or drive belt, if you will, on your 2001 to 2007 Dodge Grand Caravan or Chrysler Town Country. Now this repair will be applicable to both the 3.3 liter and the 3.8 liter motors. Now the belt that I chose to go with today is a Dayco belt, and the part number on it is 5060825, and I'll put a link to it down below in the description so you can pick one up for yourself. Hey everyone, welcome to Javo's Garage. Here I do how-to car repair videos, I do different garage projects, and I also do tool reviews, but with a focus on providing you with the in-depth details that you normally won't find in other videos. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Let's get started with replacing our belt on this van. Now your belt is located on the right hand or passenger side of your vehicle, and to access it you're going to need to remove your right front wheel to be able to get into where your belt and your tensioner and all your pulleys are located. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to do, is get this up off the ground, get the wheel off, and let's get access to it. This is a pretty quick and easy job, won't take you long to do. So now that we have our spare tire removed, it'll give us access up inside to the inner part of your wheel well and your liner. Now up inside of here, you're going to have a liner that looks just like this, and it rests up inside of there. And basically it's held in place with 4 fasteners that look like this, and hopefully you can get an eye on that. But these are just like those little tree style, Christmas tree fasteners, some people call them. They're just a push-in fastener. And to remove those, what I have found that works best is just my fastener removal tool. I'll put a link for it down below in the description for you, so you could get one if you'd like to get one. It makes the job easier. But this here's your side cover, and you basically have 4 spots where your fasteners are connected. You have one that's located up here, and that will be up here in your wheel well because it's sitting like this, so it's right here. Then you have another one that's located up here, and that way here would be towards the front. You have one located right here, and basically that one connects to a little arm, if you will, that's on your wheel well liner. And so you'll take that one out, and then your last one is located up in here, which is going to be up towards the front underneath your bumper cover. You'll take those 4 out, and then this piece will come right off, which now gives you full access to get into your serpentine or drive belt as well as your tensioner. Now, for me to be able to actually take the belt off the tensioner, you have a couple of ways you could go. You could use something like a breaker bar. It's going to have to be 1/2 inch because that's the adapter it has in it, and you could try and put that in and try and move it that way. What I use and what works really well for me is basically a serpentine belt removal tool that comes with these 2 pieces. Now this one has your 1/2 inch adapter on it, so you're able to put that inside the tensioner, and then you're able to take this tool and actually it locks into it, and it gives you lots of leverage to be able to actually loosen that tensioner up and get your belt out. Now I know this is confusing because you haven't seen the tensioner yet, so let me get down below here with the camera and let me show you what you're going to be dealing with. I'm going to get my camera in up closer here for you to try and give you some better shots. So now if we're looking up, see about right in here, see this right here? This here's your tensioner. Now you'll see this opening that's located down here. That's the 1/2 inch opening that you're going to need to try and get a tool into, or the serpentine belt tool, which I have, that you will then pull down or towards the bottom of the motor, and when you do, that takes the tension off the belt. When that happens, what I usually do, and it's up to you how you do it, is I'll come over here and I'll just take the belt off of the AC unit, off of the compressor here. It just seems to be easier for me, but you can take it off anywhere you want to at that point. So you want to get your tool in there, pull that down, and then remove your belt, and then we'll go ahead and we'll reroute the new belt so you can see now what we're dealing with. So now what I can do is I can just take my specialty tool, and you'll see there isn't much room in here to actually be able to fit sockets and whatnot, and that's where this tool is great because it's really thin, so it's designed to fit into these really tight areas. And I will take that, and I'm trying to do this without looking so I'm not in front of the camera, and now that's set into place just like that. I'll now put my tool into here and I can pull back, and I can go ahead and remove my serpentine belt. So now my tool can just go in here, and I'll reach back here and see how that moves, just like that. And then once that's down like so, I'll just come over here with my one hand and just start undoing it around my AC compressor, and just like that, my belt is loose. I can just, sorry, knocked my light out of the way. I can just gently let that back up. Now I'll remove my tool long enough to put my new belt in position. So now I'll go ahead and remove my tool, and now just start working my belt off around everything and get it removed. I'm trying to stay out from in front of the camera here, so this is going to be difficult. So I'm going to have to move my camera so I can get my arms and hands in there. But you get the gist of the point here. So now just remove your belt off of all your pulleys. So we got the old belt out, and we're ready to go ahead and install our new one. It's always a good idea before you go to all the time and hassle to start putting your new one on, is to take your new one out and set it with your old one, just to make sure that they're kind of generally in place. And what I'll do is I just kind of put my thumbs in the two ends as you'll see, like this, and then I'll just kind of take them both and kind of pull them together just to make sure that we're roughly the same length as you see here. So we're good on that. So now we're ready to go ahead and put our belt back into position. Now up here on the front of your engine bay, right up here above your radiator, you can see your caps here just to the, if you're facing it, to the right, but if you're in the vehicle it would actually be to the left. But anyway, you'll come up here and you'll find a sticker that's located up here, and this is the diagram for your belt routing. And so you'll want to follow this. Now in this case we're doing the 3.3 and 3.8 liter. So this here is what that will look like. See if we can get it to focus better. There you go. And so basically your belt runs around the outside of all of your, basically your power steering, your water pump, your alternator, your AC, and your main crank, your dampener there. But then it goes on the inside of your idler and your tensioner. So it's a pretty easy routing diagram and easy for you to follow. This is basically impossible to do with a camera because, as you can see, the space is so tight up in here. But I'm going to try and just let this run so you can see how I go ahead and running my belt through here. So I'll start over here on the alternator, work that down, and then next I'm going to go up over actually to my power steering pump, and I'm just going to work it over here beside the water pump. Now I'm going to reach up there and just keep working it. And today it's really cold where I'm at, and that makes this job even more fun because the belt's so stiff. Now in a case like this is where, sorry my arm's reaching through here, sometimes your serpentine belt tool like I have here can come in really handy, because you can use it to kind of push that belt up way up in there where your hand can't reach and lock it into position. So now we're over our power steering. So now what we need to do is come back over here and go underneath our idler. It's kind of getting caught up. So there we're over the idler, or under the idler. Now we're going to go up and over our alternator, just like you see there. So we're looking good there. Now we want to get things around our water pump. Let me get my tool out of the way. And there we go. And me, I always like to make sure everything is perfectly lined up. Now what you're going to have to do is work it in behind your tensioner, and I just kind of fold it sideways and slide it all the way up in there, and we're pushing it, and I think we just got it. Okay, so now we're over our tensioner, we're over our idler. Now I'm going to go ahead, like I explained to you before, I'm going to take it off my AC unit now, so that way I can pull it down and get it over my water pump. So now the harder ones to reach, such as my power steering pump and my water pump and the alternator up there are all pretty much taken care of, and the belt's been routed. Now what we'll need to do is put our tool back in our tensioner here, take the tension off, and put it on our AC unit. Now just take my tool, and you'll see how it locks in there, just like that. And now I can just take my extension for it, lock it into position, and I can pull up, and now that the tension's off of there, I can just go ahead and work my belt back onto my AC unit and slowly let it down. And just like that, you've gone ahead and you've changed out your belt. So now we have our belt in. Now what I do at this point is, before I go putting everything all back in here, it's only smart to hop in the car real quick, start it up, let it run for a minute, just to make sure that your belt's proper, everything's working as it should be, and that you don't have any problems with it, because you don't want to put everything all back together again to start your car and find out that you maybe did something wrong or something's not the way it should be, and then you got to go and take everything off. Take the minute right now, start the car up, make sure all your repairs are good, then put everything back together. Once that we've verified that everything's working properly, now we can go ahead and we can put our side motor cover back on, as well as go ahead and put our wheel back on. Now when you put your wheel back on, don't forget, tighten these up in a star pattern and tighten them to 100 foot-pounds on the lug nuts. And just like that, you've changed out your serpentine or drive belt, if you will, real quick and easy. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. If it has, do me a favor and hit that like button down below if you would. It just lets YouTube know that y'all appreciate my content. If you'd like to see more videos like this in the future and hang out with me here in the garage, why don't you hit that subscribe button and stick around with me. As always, thanks for watching.